Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the History Vault, our magic connection to the past. I'm Skylar Yore, and I have got the honor to speak with some of the greatest people in history. Today, our guest is one of the most remarkable presidents in the history of the United States of America. Please welcome Mr. Abraham Lincoln. Mr. Lincoln, thank you for joining us today. It's an honor to speak with one of America's most impactful leaders. Your legacy still resonates with us deeply.
Thank you kindly, Skylar. It's a privilege to share my thoughts and experiences with those seeking to understand our shared history.
You're often remembered as Honest Abe. Where did that reputation come from?
Honesty was something I held dear. From my time as a young lawyer and storekeeper in New Salem, Illinois, I always tried to be fair and straightforward. People trusted me to do right by them, and I did my best to live up to that trust.
Your role in the Civil War was pivotal. What were the main challenges you faced in preserving the Union?
The war tested us all, not only on the battlefield, but in our hearts. The Union was a fragile bond, and I knew we were fighting not just for land, but for an ideal, that all men are created equal. Convincing the nation to stay together amid such division and loss was the greatest challenge of my life.
You once said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." Could you explain what you meant by that?
Certainly. I believed that a nation half free and half slave could not endure. We had to decide as a country. We would be one thing or the other, not both. My hope was that we would choose to be a land of liberty and equality for all.
The Emancipation Proclamation is one of your most famous achievements. What did signing it mean to you personally?
It was a moral decision. Declaring freedom for the enslaved was, in my view, both a necessary step for justice and a practical war measure. It aligned our fight for union with the cause of freedom and gave hope to millions. It remains one of my proudest acts.
Did you face opposition for such bold actions regarding emancipation?
Indeed, I did. Even within my own cabinet and from Northern citizens, I faced criticism. Some thought it too radical, others not radical enough. I had to stay focused on the bigger picture, which was preserving the Union and promoting equality as our guiding principle.
In your early days, you experienced many failures, like your business ventures and campaigns. How did you find the strength to continue?
Those experiences shaped me. Every setback made me more resilient and deepened my commitment. I learned that failure is only final if you allow it to be. Perseverance is essential in public service, and I always believed that my setbacks were preparing me for something greater.
You were known for your wit and storytelling. How did humor play a role in your leadership?
Humor was my way of coping with the weight of war and the burdens of leadership. Laughter brought lightness even in dark times. It was my tool for resilience and helped me connect with those around me, from generals to everyday citizens.
Mr. Lincoln, before becoming president, you served in the Illinois legislature and briefly in Congress. How did these early experiences shape your views on leadership and governance?
Serving in the Illinois legislature and later in Congress taught me the value of compromise and understanding diverse perspectives. In the Illinois House, I argued for internal improvements, like infrastructure, which helped me recognize the importance of national unity in practical ways. My time in Congress was brief, but it was enough to strengthen my stance against the expansion of slavery, a cause I continued to champion in my later political career.
Another milestone in your life was the Lincoln-Douglas debates in 1858. Can you share how those debates influenced your career?
Yes, those debates. Facing Senator Stephen A. Douglas on the question of slavery's expansion forced me to articulate my beliefs more clearly and publicly than ever. Although I lost that Senate race, the debates raised my national profile and clarified my opposition to slavery's spread. They marked a turning point, giving voice to the moral argument against slavery and setting the stage for my presidential campaign in 1860.
Tragically, your life ended abruptly. How do you view the impact of your assassination on the country?
I would have liked to see the nation through its recovery and help guide it toward reconciliation. My hope was that the country would find unity despite the wounds of war. My death, I think, left a void, and the task of healing fell to others. I can only hope they carried that torch well.
Finally, one of your most famous lines is, "Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." What message were you trying to convey with that?
That line from the Gettysburg Address reflects my belief in democracy as a living force. Our government should serve all its citizens, built on their will and consent. I hope these words would remind future generations of their duty to preserve and cherish that ideal.
Mr. Lincoln, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and insights with us today. It's been a true honor.
Thank you, Schuyler. I've enjoyed this chance to reflect. May our history continue to guide and inspire us forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, for now, the vault closes again, but we will reopen it soon with a new fascinating interview partner from the past. Have a nice time until then.